What's up? I'm Jim. This is J Street Moto. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if it's your first time. How many of you actually ride in cold weather? And I don't mean that to, this is not one of those, oh, you can fucking ride year round, or it's not one of those videos. I wanted to talk seriously about riding in the cold, because it brings some unique challenges, and I don't know if we often think about it that way. First off, you're not going to be riding in the temperature that the weather tells you it is. Not if you're moving. You're creating your own wind chill. I suggest you go look up the wind chill to speed conversion chart. If I can get a picture of it, I'll put that picture in right here and leave it there for a second for you to be able to look at it. Or, pause the video and look at it. This thing really is enlightening because it shows you, even at like 60 degrees, if you're going fast enough, you're exposing your body to some pretty chilly temperatures, for lack of a better way of saying it. And I think a lot of us recognize, oh fuck man, it's cold, I need to put some gear on, I need to put some shit on. I think a lot of us know that and we think about it that way. What I don't think a lot of us consider, or I know I haven't considered it until just recently, which is why I wanted to talk about it today. I'd never considered the fact that, or even thought about the fact that, well shit man, we're really, some of the temperatures I ride through, I could get hypothermia. So I thought I'd talk real quick about what are some of the signs. Because most of the time, especially if you're riding and it's really cold, chances are you're doing it because you didn't have a choice. The example I'll give you is, you're on a trip and you've got to make your way home. And one of the days you get up, it's, 28 degrees outside. You don't have the option of hanging out and waiting for weather to warm up. You got to get on the road. And, so maybe you haven't considered the fact that you could be getting hypothermia when you're riding your bike. If you're riding with a group of guys, I thought I'd throw out the symptoms of hypothermia so that you could tell when you're, watching out for your buddies. Because if you're in a group, guys, if you're in a group and you're riding, when you stop somewhere, it's everybody's job to check on everybody else. You want to make sure everybody's doing okay. The pace is all right for everyone. No one's having any issues. So some of the symptoms of hypothermia that you can know, and this is the beginning stages, for instance. Uncontrollable shivering. We've all been there at some point. But when I say uncontrollable shivering, your extremities are shaking and no matter what you do, you can't get them to stop. That is a warning sign. That's a sign of early stage hypothermia setting in. Increased heart rate. They didn't think of that one. Actually, one of the weird things about hypothermia is, from most of what I know about it, most of what I've read, most people that get hypothermia and die from it, they actually die from heart failure because the cold makes it so hard for the heart to work that it ends up causing heart failure. Your core temperature gets low enough that your heart just cannot pump blood fast enough to do what it needs to do to keep the system alive. So usually it's heart failure that kills people when they have hypothermia. So an increased heart rate, that means your blood pressure is probably going to go up a little bit as well. Sometime between the early stage and mid stage of hypothermia, it happens at different times for different people. What's up, dudes? How are you? Happens at different times for different people. And, slurred speech. Not being able to think clearly. It starts to affect your processing ability, your brain's ability to function and think clearly. We're not going to get into the late stage stuff because by then it's too fucking late. I just wanted to give you some warning signs so that You know, when you're on your bike, you can feel it start recognizing, oh shit, man, you know. I remember somebody once told me if I can't control my extremities, so cold that I'm shivering uncontrollably, that was an early stage indication of hypothermia. Maybe I should pull the hell over and warm up before I continue down the road. Just a thought. I also thought about showing you, still might, kind of showing you the gear that I use based on the temperatures that I'm riding in. Now for me, and everybody's different. For me, when I say this is the gear I use for a given temperature, I'm speaking specifically to this is the kind of things that I would put on in order to be able to go out in the temperature that I'm talking about and ride for 2 to 2.5 hours straight without stopping and without feeling any of those early indicating symptoms of hypothermia. So that's what I'm talking about. For me, once it gets below 50, I'll call it below 50, the minimum I have to wear in order to be able to ride at, say, 70 miles an hour for 2 hours, I have to put on long johns, because my legs get cold before anything else does, really. I have to put on long johns on the lower layer. I usually wear a pair of riding pants, which are thicker than normal jeans, the Kevlar lined kind with the heavy canvas, that kind of shit. Usually wear those when I'm, on a day like that, when it's 50 degrees, when it's a little lower than 50 degrees. Up top, I'm going to wear probably a short sleeve t-shirt, a long sleeve t-shirt, a sweatshirt, and then my leather jacket. And that'll be my top layer. Because really what you're trying to do is, as much as possible, you're trying to keep your chest, your body cavity warmer. Now keep in mind, no heated gear on this end. I'm going to research it, but it doesn't get cold enough for long enough periods of time around here to really justify the investment. It's a good way to put it. So, last thing that I would put on at 50 degrees, or when it gets just below 50 degrees, next thing I'm going to put on is gloves. I'm going to have some kind of gloves on. And usually at like, when it's 50 or just below 50, these gloves are fine. The leather Siddiqui gloves that are ventilated on the top. I'm riding them right now at 55 degrees out. My hands are fine. And then depending on my mood, I may or may not put a full face helmet on. That temperature really isn't one for me to say 100% I'm going to throw a full on, because that's cold enough that I can't wear my hat. So, and that setup right there that I just described is all I need between 45 degrees and 50 degrees that I'm comfortable like that. Let's go the next 10 degrees down, or next 5 degrees down. When it gets below 45, we're talking 40 to 45 degrees, definitely wearing the full. Depending on how humid it is, there's a lot of moisture in the air, I might go ahead and throw the leather pants on top of to add that extra layer to my bottom side. I might. It's depending on humidity, so I might not. Because at that point, I usually can shut the vents on my lower fairings, and that gives my legs a little extra heat. If I'm going to wear the half between 40 and 45 miles an hour, I'm definitely having a gaiter on, and it's going to be one of the thicker ones to keep my face warm. Usually below 45 degrees is when I'm for sure going to throw the full on, just because it's easier. Now let's talk the next one. Below 40. Let's talk 35 to 40 degrees. For sure the leather pants are going on. I'm going to change the gloves out to gauntlet gloves that are winter, or much heavier gloves than any other glove that I have. Definitely the full's going to be on. May or may not have a gaiter on underneath the full to give my neck a little extra protection. I'm probably at that point also adding another layer under what I'm wearing up top. So I've got a running shirt that wicks sweat away and perspiration. I put that on as my base layer up top. Then I throw on a short sleeve t-shirt, a long sleeve t-shirt, a sweatshirt, and then my leather jacket. And that's how I'm gonna roll when it's below 40. Now, I don't often have to do it around here just because of the climate that exists in the Charlotte metro area. But on those rare occasions where it is colder than 30 degrees, I rarely ride in temperatures colder than 30. I do, because I'm rarely faced with them. I've been on this bike at temperatures as low as 22 degrees and ridden at that temperature, I cannot do 2 hours. I don't have any gear that will allow me to do 2 hours. The most I can do at that temperature and at speed, at cruising speeds like on an interstate, is right about an hour and 15 minutes. At that point, I have to stop because my hands have gotten so numb that I can't feel the controls anymore, and I need to just let my hands, I need to let my hands get better. So yeah, basically once it's down around 22, in the 20s, I've got everything that I own on pretty much, and the best I can do is about an hour. But I know that, and I can still, make it. And the good news is most of the time you're not having to be in those temperatures the entire day. Hope you guys are getting out there riding. Hope you guys have been, liking what's been coming out. There's been some other interesting shit on YouTube recently in the motorcycle community. Some pretty cool stuff going on. And we're getting geared up for Daytona. There are a lot of people that are headed there. In any case, do me a favor. Like, subscribe, click the notification bell, share it with your friends, comment. Always, ride safe. Yeah, ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot. Ah. Asshole.
Really? Peace out, bitches!